Jack and the Beanstalk. Once upon a time, in a quiet little village at the edge of a green valley, there lived a boy named Jack and his mother. Their cottage was small and old, with a crooked chimney and a garden full of wildflowers. They were poor, so poor that many days they had nothing but warm water for dinner. But even with so little, Jack and his mother shared a love that kept their spirits high. Their most precious companion was their gentle brown cow named Nunu. Nunu gave milk every morning, and that milk kept Jack and his mother fed. Whenever Jack brushed her coat, Nunu would moo softly and nuzzle his shoulder. "Nunu," Jack would say with a smile, "you're the best cow in the whole world." But as time went on, Nunu stopped giving milk. No matter how much Jack cared for her, not a single drop came. One evening, Jack found his mother sitting at the table, her hands covering her face. "Oh, Jack," she said with a trembling voice, "if Nunu cannot give milk, we have no food left, no money at all." Jack's heart tightened. He knelt beside her. "Mother, what can we do?" She swallowed hard. "We must sell Nunu." Jack froze. "Sell Nunu? His best friend?" "Mother, must we?" he whispered. "We have no choice, Jack." The next morning, Jack prepared to lead Nunu to the village market. He hugged her neck. "It's okay, girl. I'll make sure you get a good home." Nunu mooed softly, as if she understood. As they walked down the forest path, an old man with sparkling eyes and a long blue coat appeared before them. "Well now," the old man said, leaning on a wooden staff, "that's a fine-looking cow." Jack sighed. "Her name is Nunu, but she doesn't give milk anymore. I'm taking her to the market." The old man stroked his beard. "I will buy her from you," he said. Jack asked, "Do you have money?" "Money? No, no, no," the man chuckled. "I have something far more valuable." From his pocket, he drew out 5 beans, but they were unlike any Jack had ever seen. They shimmered with tiny sparks of gold. "These," the old man whispered, "are magic beans. Plant them tonight, and by morning, well, something marvelous will happen." Jack blinked. "Magic?" "Magic indeed," the man said with a wink. "You won't regret it." Jack thought of the empty cupboards at home. He thought of his mother's worry, and somehow he believed the man. "Deal," Jack said, trading Nunu for the beans. When Jack returned home, his mother gasped, "Where is Nunu?" Jack proudly held up the beans. "Mother, look, magic beans." "Magic beans?" she cried. "Jack, how could you do such a thing?" Before Jack could explain, she snatched the beans and threw them out the window. "Now we have nothing," she said softly, her tears falling freely. "Nothing at all." Jack felt his stomach twist with guilt. He went to bed without dinner, staring at the ceiling, wondering if he had made a terrible mistake. But the next morning, everything changed. Jack woke to a strange green glow outside his window. He rushed outside and gasped. A giant beanstalk, as thick as a tree and as tall as the sky, twisted upward into the clouds. Leaves the size of blankets rustled in the wind. "Mother!" Jack shouted. "Look!" She stepped outside and covered her mouth in awe. "Jack, what have you done?" I think the beans really were magic." Jack felt excitement bubbling inside him. "Mother, I'm going to climb it." She grabbed his arm. "Jack, no! It's dangerous!" But Jack smiled gently. "Everything will be okay. I'll come back soon. I promise." And with that, Jack began to climb. Up and up and up he climbed. past the clouds, past the sun's warm rays, past everything he had ever known. At last, he reached the top and stepped onto a land unlike any other. There was a massive stone path, wide as a river. Flowers taller than Jack swayed in the breeze, and in the distance stood a giant's castle, towering so high it disappeared into mist. Jack approached the castle carefully. At the door sat a giant woman wearing an apron the size of a tent. "Excuse me," Jack said timidly. "I'm very hungry. Do you have anything to eat?" The giant woman squinted. "Oh my goodness, a little boy? Here? You shouldn't be wandering around. My husband the giant has a terrible temper, and worse," she lowered her voice to a whisper, "he eats little boys." Jack gulped hard. "I'll be fast. Just a bite?" Her heart softened. "Oh, you poor thing. All right, come inside. Quickly now." Inside, she gave Jack bread as big as his head and cheese like a mountain slice. He sat quietly, but the ground suddenly trembled. Boom, boom, boom. The giant woman gasped. "He's home! Hide, child, hide!" Jack dove into a large copper pot just as the massive giant stomped in, his voice booming. "Fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the feet of a little one." Jack held his breath. "You imagine things," the giant woman said quickly. "Now sit down." The giant did, but he grumbled suspiciously as he ate. Then he said,
"Wife, bring me my gold."
The giant woman brought a huge sack of gold coins. The giant counted them until his eyelids grew heavy, and soon he fell asleep, snoring loudly. Jack peeked out of the pot. "The gold," he whispered. "It could save his mother." So Jack tiptoed to the table, grabbed a handful of coins, and ran as fast as he could. He scrambled down the beanstalk and reached home breathless. "Mother!" he cried. "Look!" She stared at the gold with disbelief. "Jack, this will feed us for months." They bought food and repaired their cottage. Life was better, but Jack's curiosity about the world above only grew. Days later, he climbed the beanstalk again. This time, in the giant's castle, he heard the giant shout,
"Wife, bring me my hen."
A beautiful hen was placed on the table.
"Lay!"
the giant commanded. And the hen laid a golden egg, shining brighter than anything Jack had seen. When the giant slept, Jack whispered softly, "Come with me, little hen," and carried her away. He and his mother were now richer than ever. But Jack went up one more time. This time, he saw the giant with a magical harp shaped like an angel.
"Sing,"
he ordered. And the harp sang a melody so beautiful it made Jack's heart ache. But as soon as Jack touched the harp, it cried out, "Master! Master!" The giant awoke with a roar.
"Boy!"
Jack ran, racing down the beanstalk with the harp in his arms. The giant thundered after him, roaring furiously. "Mother!" Jack shouted. "Bring the axe!" Jack's mother rushed outside just as Jack reached the bottom. He swung the axe. Chop! The beanstalk quivered. Chop! It began to fall. Chop! With a final crack, the beanstalk collapsed and the giant tumbled down, disappearing forever. Jack and his mother hugged each other tightly, tears of relief streaming down their faces. That evening, as they sat by the fire, Jack's mother said softly, "You've had quite an adventure, my son." Jack nodded. "I have, and I learned so much." He held Nunu's old bucket in his hands, remembering her gentle eyes. I learned that quick decisions can lead to trouble, but courage can lead us out again. I learned that kindness, like the giant's wife showed me, can come from unexpected places. I learned that bravery isn't about being unafraid. It's about doing what's right, even when you are afraid. And I learned that dreams can grow from the smallest seeds, even from a handful of beans. His mother smiled, stroking his hair. And together, she said, we'll make sure those lessons guide us for the rest of our lives. And so they lived happily and wisely in their warm little cottage with golden eggs on the table and music from the magical harp filling their home with joy.